Do you know how to explain your health condition? If you are sick, can you tell your doctor how you feel? All right, please watch this next lesson and let's learn how to talk about our health. Hello everyone, welcome to Shelly's English School. Today, let's learn how to talk about our health. Today, we're going to practice different phrases to explain our health conditions. There are so many ways to explain how we feel. Right now it's winter time, so a lot of people get sick. So in this lesson, we are going to learn different phrases that we can say to explain how we feel. And we are going to be using three main verbs that will really help you to understand how to make these phrases. The very first verb we will use is have. Next, we will use the be verb. And finally, we will use feel. Okay, so have, be, and feel. Those are the three main verbs we will use, but we will also use some other verbs as well. But first, let's look at have. When we are feeling sick, we often will use the have verb. One phrase we could say is, I have a cold. I have a cold. Now, if you have a cold, you probably don't feel very well. Maybe you have many different symptoms, okay? So for example, my throat, okay? We could say, I have a sore throat. I have a sore throat. Okay, again, we're using the have verb, okay? Next, we could say, I have a cough. I have a cough. Maybe you feel very hot. Your temperature is very high. So, I have a fever. I have a fever. Now, if you have a fever, maybe you feel very cold. Okay, so we could say, I have the chills. I have the chills. Next, if you have a cold, maybe there is some liquid coming out of your nose, right? So something is coming out of your nose. So in English, we say, I have a runny nose. I have a runny nose. Okay, so all of these we're using have verb. Okay, next, let's think about our stomach. Oh, ow. Right, so I would say, I have a stomach ache. I have a stomach ache. Now, if you have a stomach ache, there are many ways we could say, I have a stomach ache. For example, you could say, I have a sharp pain in my stomach. A sharp pain in my stomach. So sharp means it's very pointy. It's almost like a needle. There's like a needle kind of pain in my stomach. Next, we could say, I have a stabbing pain in my stomach. I have a stabbing pain in my stomach. Okay? Stabbing pain means like almost there's like a knife. The knife is stabbing, so it feels very painful. All right, next, you could say, I have a burning feeling in my stomach. I have a burning feeling in my stomach. So sometimes if you eat very spicy food, next you have this burning feeling. So in English, we say, I have a burning feeling in my stomach. All right, so we've talked about the throat, we've talked about our nose, we've talked about the stomach. Next, let's talk about our head. All right, so, ow, I have pain in my head. So in English, we say, I have a headache. I have a headache. All right, and the last phrase we are going to learn using the have verb is if you are sick and if you have a fever, you're very hot, maybe you don't want to eat any food. You don't want to eat any food. So in English, we say, I don't have an appetite. I don't have an appetite. So those were many phrases using the have verb. Now, have verb is very useful if we talk about our health, especially if you have a cold or a fever. Next, let's use the be verb. The be verb. The be verb is also very useful to talk about our health. Now, let's go back to I have a cold. So we learned I have a runny nose. I have a runny nose. That means liquid is coming out. But sometimes I can't breathe. My nose is very full and it's difficult to breathe through my nose. So now I can breathe. It's great, no problem. But sometimes I can't breathe. In English, we say, I am stuffed up. I am stuffed up. Okay. Now, if we go to the throat, I have a sore throat. If we use the be verb, we could say, my throat is killing. My throat is killing. Okay. Here, killing means very painful. Okay. So my throat is killing. Right? We learned I have a fever. I have a fever. If my fever is very high, maybe my fever is 39.5 degrees, then maybe I will say, I am burning up. I am burning up. Okay, so here burning means I'm very hot. So I am burning up. It means I have a very high fever. I am burning up. Now, we learned I have a sore throat. Right? So sometimes if you have a sore throat, it's difficult to speak. Maybe your voice doesn't come out clearly. So in that situation, you can say, I'm losing my voice. I'm losing my voice. If your voice is gone, you can't speak. Then you say, I lost my voice. I lost my voice. So the be verb is also very useful when we talk about our health. Next, let's use the verb feel. Okay, let's use the verb feel. Now, if we talk about our health, I could say, I feel sick. I feel sick. Sometimes when you feel sick, maybe you don't feel good. Maybe you want to throw up, or you have that feeling of you want to throw up. In that situation, please say, I feel nauseous. I feel nauseous. If your stomach feels very full, it's very full, there's maybe a lot of gas inside your stomach, then we can say, I feel bloated. I feel bloated. Okay, finally, let's go over some other phrases. These phrases, we are not using have, we're not using the be verb, we're not using feel. Okay, so the first phrase, my head hurts. My head hurts. Okay, hurt means pain. So I have pain. So hurt is a verb, so we could say my head hurts. Next, my throat hurts. My throat hurts. When you are sick, sometimes your elbows, your knees, they are very painful. We call these points, so the wrist, the elbow, the knees, these are all called joints. Joints. So my joints hurt. My joints hurt. And finally, we could say, I ache all over. I ache all over. Or maybe you could say, my body aches. My body aches. So if you have a fever, sometimes your body has a lot of pain. So we could say, my body aches, or I ache all over. Today we learned a lot of phrases about our health. So if you go to a doctor, if you're living in an English-speaking country, if you go to the doctor, these phrases will help you to explain your health condition to the doctor. So that brings us to the end of this lesson. Now, if you like this lesson and if you think these types of phrases or these types of lessons are useful for you, please do me a favor and please hit the subscribe button, give me a big thumbs up, and hit the notification bell. All right, so I will see you in the next lesson. Thanks for joining me today. See ya.